is CTV News.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Travis Fortnum. We're getting a new snapshot of student learning in Ontario tonight with the latest EQAO results now out. Let's bring in CTV's Robert Lothian with a look at local results here in Windsor, Essex. Robert, how'd they do?
Well, Travis, both the public and Catholic boards feel there are signs of success within these results. The testing shows the majority of Windsor Essex students are meeting the province's benchmark, but there is still some work to do. Serving as a snapshot of reading, writing, and math skills, Windsor Essex educators feel there's promise in the latest EQAO test results.
We are looking to see gains over time, and we're very pleased to note that we are continuing to see gains in our student performance over the years.
The province releasing the results Wednesday, months later than expected. At the Catholic Board, Executive Superintendent of Education Melissa Farron says students exceeded provincial averages in 7 of 8 categories.
So it's important that it informs our next steps, but again, it's one measure of student success, and we're very pleased to note that our students are meeting with success as measured by EQAO.
At the public board, students improved year over year in most categories.
We will take that and we'll see where do we need to focus on as educators and what strategies do we need to do to support our educators to ensure student success.
Much focus province-wide is being put on the trailing mathematics figures, and Windsor Essex wasn't immune. Neither board had more than 60% of grade 6 or 9 students meet the provincial standard. Work to aid those students, they say, is already underway.
It's creating those opportunities for students to talk about the math. And with those conversations and the tools of representation, students have a visual representation of their problem solving, and which allows them to be more accurate in their responses.
Both boards stress the results are only one piece of the educational puzzle. Using the EQAO figures, they can determine which students and schools need more support.
We really want to do everything we can to make sure that students are meeting with success and they're making gains along the way.
Both the public and Catholic board are sharing a similar message to parents whose child didn't perhaps see the result that they were hoping for, and that is to reach out to your teacher or school where they are sure to receive the help that they need. And of course, for more specific numbers on EQAO results in our region, you can visit ctvnewswindsor.ca. Travis.
Thank you, Robert. That's CTV's Robert Lothian with our top story tonight. And in the wake of those results, Ontario's education minister says, on the whole, the province's students are falling short. With more on the government response, here's CTV's Siobhan Morris.
It frustrated me and made me quite upset.
The Minister of Education displeased with the EQAO results he held back for study. He doesn't feel progress in reading, writing, and math is coming fast enough.
Half of grade 6 students and 42% of grade 9 students are not meeting the provincial standard in math.
In response, the government's setting up a 2-person advisory panel to dig into student learning.
The review will look at whether our curriculum and learning resources are clear and easy to use. It will consider how well teachers are being prepared and supported. It will examine whether students have the tools they need to succeed in the classroom.
And look at what kind of testing makes sense. The people doing that work will be named in the new year. Their pay, $1,500 a day.
I think you should be focusing on what some say the $1,500 a year that students are being shorted individually in our education system.
The opposition says the changes needed to help kids succeed are no secret.
We need smaller class sizes. We need more teachers. We need more educational assistants, not less.
The president of EQAO is open to talking, but
what we don't need is other outside experts, again, trying to tell teachers as if they aren't professionals with experience what should be happening in their classroom.
Public elementary teachers want to do away with EQAO, a test their union says hasn't lived up to its goal.
Which was to close achievement gaps identified through the tests, where funds are directed to communities and to locations where extra supports are needed.
Calandra had planned to make a decision on whether or not to do away with trustees by the end of this year. Now he says no announcement will be made until 2026. He's still reviewing constitutional requirements for education in the Catholic and French systems.
But nothing has changed my mind right now that trustees are in any way the best way to deliver a $43 billion educational system.
At Queen's Park, Siobhan Morris, CTV News.
An arrest in Kingsville last week after an OPP child exploitation investigation. Provincial police say they searched a home in Kingsville on November 28th, seizing several electronic devices. A 57-year-old man is now facing 3 charges, including making available, possessing, and accessing child pornography. The accused remains in custody after a bail hearing and is set to appear in a Windsor court on December 4th. In a separate case, 2 men are now facing human trafficking charges after a 27-year-old woman told Windsor police she was forced into the sex trade and sexually exploited over 3 days before she managed to escape. With help from the OPP's rope squad, 1 suspect was arrested in Barrie on Tuesday and a second was picked up later that day at a home on Cameron Avenue here in Windsor. The 23 and 27-year-old accused are facing multiple trafficking-related charges, and police say the younger man also threatened to cause death or bodily harm. Big backups on Dougall after a crash today, just in time for afternoon rush hour. The road was reopened by 4:30, but for nearly 2 hours, Windsor police had all the northbound lanes shut down between Olette Place and South Cameron Boulevard. During the closure, all cars headed north were redirected south. Police were unable to provide information on the extent of any injuries. Scam texts are nothing new, but a new wave hitting phones this week is raising concerns. The messages urge people to click a link to pay supposed fines for improper driving behavior, and it's led to city staff being flooded with calls. CTV's Sanjay Maru reports.
Getting a scam text can be quite annoying, especially if you're receiving more than 1 a day.
They just continuously come in. Yesterday, I received 3 of them, and they were all different links.
Since the start of the week, a string of scam texts has prompted as many as 50 calls to the city of Windsor from concerned residents. People being told they owe money either for speeding or for parking in a prohibited area, even though the text does not list a location or even mention a city. And no matter which version of the text you get, the goal is always the same: to push you into clicking a link that leads to a phishing page designed to steal your personal or banking information.
Know that 1, City of Windsor, we don't have your cell phone numbers. 2, we don't have your email addresses. So if you get these either ways, be suspicious right off the bat.
City official Bill Krolovinsky says scammers tend to follow trends. If police are issuing warnings about speeding, that's when speed-related texts start hitting people's phones. The same thing happens with automated speed enforcement or any change in policing habits. Scammers ride the wave of whatever is making headlines.
It goes through a cyclical motion. Probably every 3 months we get a bam of them. Another 3 months we get another wham of them.
But while some may be quick to ignore these types of scam messages, it's the timing of these texts which can appear more believable, particularly for those who already have a ticket or a court matter pending. One paralegal I spoke with says some of his clients are mere seconds away from tapping that link, thinking they're settling a real fine.
I've had people call me saying, "What happened to the ticket? Because I just got a notice that I owe the money." And I'm like, how did you send that to me? Well, it's on my text. No, phony, delete it.
The correct advice, despite scam texts showing no signs of slowing down.
Usually what I'll do is I'll report them as junk and delete them. But you know what? Another one will follow through, a couple hours later.
Sanjay Maru, CTV News.
It's about to get a little more expensive to cross the Ambassador Bridge. The company behind the crossing says they're hiking the toll effective January 1st. Right now, it costs $12 Canadian to take a standard vehicle across. That's going up $2 to cost you $14 each way. Again, that's effective New Year's Day. The City of Windsor says there should be enough shelter spaces to keep people out of the cold this winter. Right now, Windsor has just under 200 shelter beds and rooms across 4 sites, plus another 100 drop-in spots. City staff say the numbers suggest there's enough capacity to meet demand, but they're watching it closely and checking drop-in data every day as temperatures drop. This year's Goodfellows newspaper drive blew past its fundraising goal. Over 3 days last week, hundreds of volunteers hit street corners across Windsor, Tecumseh, and LaSalle, collecting donations for Goodfellows programs. The campaign pulled in more than $381,000, topping its $375,000 goal and surpassing last year's total. Organizers say the money will help keep key programs running, from food banks and breakfast programs to shoe and boot support and holiday dinner boxes. Residents in Ward 2 got their first official chance tonight to meet their new councillor, Fraser Fathers. Fathers fielding questions on everything from alley maintenance to transit to vacant buildings and park upgrades. The newly elected councillor says he heard a lot during the campaign, and tonight was about keeping that conversation going as he settles into the role. Windsor's police and firefighters are lacing up, turning their rivalry into support for local cancer research. CTV's Chris Campbell has more.
As much as it's just a hockey game, it is not just a hockey game.
Police and fire crews stood side by side Wednesday, officially kicking off the inaugural Battle of the Badges charity hockey game, where all proceeds will support local cancer research.
In the fire service, cancer is obviously near and dear to our hearts. It is our #1 risk factor for injury, for line of duty deaths.
The Windsor Police Service and Windsor Fire and Rescue Services will face off February 4th at the WFCU Centre on World Cancer Day, in a game that hits close to home for many wearing the uniforms.
You know, over the years we've done Battle of the Badges in a different way, but this is the one that really means the most. I mean, this everyone's been affected, and we've all heard that, and it couldn't be more true.
The funds raised will support research underway at the University of Windsor, giving the public a behind-the-scenes look at where donations make a difference.
In this building right here, the core building, we have equipment that doesn't exist everywhere in the world. You know, this is a place where we've been able to get the types of equipment that we can ask cutting-edge questions, and those questions can lead directly into patient care.
Researchers say keeping that work local means faster collaboration, better outcomes, and training the next generation of scientists at home.
If I can sell 3,000 tickets combined with the sponsorship dollars that we have, we will raise $70,000, and the Cancer Research Society will match that so that we can create an additional operational grant that will happen right here in Windsor in 2027.
The event is being organized in partnership with Play for a Cure, led by cancer survivor Jeff Casey, whose motivation is deeply personal.
I was diagnosed with cancer about 17 years ago at what you would call the exact wrong time, because it was the day after our daughter was born.
17 years later, Casey says he's proud to turn his experience into action.
I was given this opportunity to survive, and so now I'm carrying on and trying to raise money, funds, awareness to support local cancer research so that we can create more survivors, that we can have better health outcomes for our cancer patients.
In Windsor, Chris Campbell, CTV News.
CTV's Rita Ismail has your full weather details coming up in 2 minutes' time.
It was consistently recognized nationally as a top program in canine policing.
And still ahead, meet Windsor Police's newest recruit and the officers they work alongside. Let's take a look at the weather tonight. CTV's Rita Ismail is in the Weather Center for us. Here is a look at the chilly forecast.
Our temperatures are dropping as we head into the night. We had a clipper push through earlier today, and in behind it, a cold Arctic air mass starting to filter over southwestern Ontario. The winds will kick up for your Thursday morning, and of course, that means some lake effect flurries. Here's how that plays out. So as we move in through the night, we are seeing the last bit of snow associated with that weak low pressure system starting to push out, and you could really see those streamers setting up overnight tonight, especially throughout Grey and Bruce County. And then down in London, there's one particular line that we are sort of going to be concerned about as it shifts. It could cause some whiteout conditions on the roads early in the morning during your commute. Now throughout Grey and Bruce and further near Owen Sound, you are seeing a snow squall possibly set up, and as a result, Environment Canada has issued a watch that is in effect. By about 7 tomorrow, though, we should start to see the windsies, and that is good news. That means we will have a break from the flurries and the snow until later this weekend. But the air mass that is settling in for the next 48 hours will be the coldest of the season so far. We're looking at temperatures that will feel like midwinter right across the board. Now in Windsor, we'll be under mostly sunny conditions to a mix of sun and cloud on Thursday, not really being impacted a lot by way of the lake effect snowfall. So a cold start to your day for Thursday, -9, feeling close to -14 with the wind chill. And again, the winds will be fairly gusty throughout London. We're looking at winds gusting upwards of 60 kilometers per hour out of the northwest. That means the chance of flurries is there for your Thursday. A bit of a break late day Thursday into Friday, but Friday will be cold, -4, feeling like -14 with the wind chill. Scattered flurries possible for Saturday, mostly cloudy on Sunday, and a nice mix of sun and cloud on Monday, and then we are expecting to warm back up to near seasonal values a week from today, but with that will come some mixed precipitation. Midwestern Ontario, again, that chance for some flurries and snow squalls to set up tomorrow is high. We are expecting a cold air mass throughout the region and strong gusty winds. Friday, nice mix of sun and cloud for most of the day before flurries set up again late day Friday into Saturday, and then mostly cloudy conditions Sunday, but again bitterly cold at -4. The temperature's really struggling the next 7 days. And of course in Windsor at the 1 degree mark, but that wind chill will be felt throughout Windsor, Essex as well. It'll be windy, and then into Friday we could see those early morning flurries setting up. Saturday, nice mix of sun and cloud, but cold, -13 first thing Saturday morning. Flurries returning on Sunday, and then it will improve in terms of sunshine Monday and Tuesday before a mixed bag of weather arrives on Wednesday.
Thank you, Rita. Tragedy to start the day up on the 401 near Kitchener this morning, with a tow truck driver struck and killed and the driver responsible, according to police, taking off. Here's CTV's Colton Weens.
The scene of a fatal hit and run. Emergency responders called to the westbound lanes of the 401 near Oxford Road 3 just after 7 Wednesday morning, where police say a tow truck driver was killed.
The individual was a tow truck operator that was assisting a stranded motorist on the side of the road when they were struck and killed by an unknown vehicle.
The tow truck operator, a 42-year-old man from Kitchener, was pronounced dead at the scene.
To all family members and friends that are affected by this tragedy, I just wanted to extend my deepest and sincerest condolences. You're in our thoughts.
The vehicle that hit the tow truck driver drove off. The OPP later identified a vehicle of interest, described as a blue-colored tractor and trailer with a black tarp on top. They're trying to find and speak with the driver. As the investigation unfolded, the westbound lanes were closed between Cedar Creek Road and Oxford Road 29, forcing traffic into a detour for several hours. The highway was reopened around 1 in the afternoon. In Ontario, it is law that motorists must slow down and move over if it's safe to do so when passing a tow truck with flashing amber lights. If a lane change is not possible, drivers must slow down significantly.
Unfortunately, this is a devastating reality of why the slow down and move over law exists. The slow down and move over law is not one or the other, it's both.
Canada's national charity dedicated to injury prevention says if you can't move over, slowing down even a little makes a major difference in a crash.
If a person is hit by a car going 80 kilometers an hour, they have a 90% risk of being killed in that collision. Whereas even slowing down to going 60 kilometers an hour reduces that death risk to 50%.
As police look into this tragedy, they're appealing to the public for any tips that might help.
If you're traveling in this area between Cedar Creek Road and Oxford Road 29, either east or westbound this morning between 7 and 7:30, and you saw something that may have caught your eye, you saw a damaged vehicle, you saw the collision or shortly what occurred afterwards, or even before, we urge you to contact the Oxford OPP.
Colton Weens, CTV News.
Back here in Windsor, a new recruit has joined the police K-9 unit, filling a role recently vacated through a retirement. CTV's Michelle Molesky reports.
This is Windsor Police K-9 Officer Smoke. The 18-month-old German Shepherd Malinois has passed his 15-week course and is now a member of the Windsor Police Service.
It's fair to say that our police dogs are some of the Windsor's most popular officers. Each time they assist with an arrest, it always gets people attention, and for good reason.
Originally from Holland, Smoke has been partnered with Constable Ryland Salmon for active duty.
It's more than a job, it's a lifetime dedication to our K-9 partners,
to the service and to the community, extending beyond the typical 9 to 5.
Smoke graduated today along with K-9 Officer Shadow for the Sarnia Police Service.
The reason why we end up in Windsor is because of how renowned this dog teams are.
Shadow is Sarnia's second dog trained in Windsor.
Who is consistently recognized nationally as a top program in canine policing.
Meantime, K-9 Officer Cole is now officially retired after serving the community for 8 years.
They became one of the best teams I've ever had the opportunity to coach. And I'm prepared to give the ultimate compliment to this team, which is our community, without question, has been made safer with you rolling on the streets.
His handler, Constable Eric Wilson, recalls early in their career, the drug squad couldn't find narcotics in a home, but Cole dead stopped on the back deck of the house.
Well, this is weird. Put him back in the truck and find a big hidden compartment under the deck, and it had a large amount of drugs and a large amount of money in there. And had he not been there, there's no question that would have gone undetected, and those drugs would have ended up on the street.
Constable Wilson will now go to a new unit within the service, while Cole will roam around his handler's property in retirement.
He runs around and hangs out with me and guards my garage and stuff now. So.
At the Windsor Police Training Branch, Michelle Molesky, CTV News.
Canada's main stock index was up today as the energy and base metal sectors rose. The TSX gained 111 points. In New York, then the Dow added 408. The Nasdaq is up 40. The Canadian dollar gained 1/5 of a cent today on commodity markets. Gold is up almost $12 an ounce. Oil added 31 cents a barrel.
Cancer for a Cause is back for its 22nd year.
Join us as we broadcast live from Devonshire Mall.
We'll be collecting cash and non-perishable food items for the Society of St. Vincent de Paul.
We need your help, generosity, and goodwill.
Visit us online for more information.
CTV News Windsor has launched a newsletter helping you start your day with the latest local news. By signing up, you'll get direct local content straight from CTV Windsor to your inbox, including top stories, the forecast, and videos. You can sign up at ctvnewswindsor.ca. As we've previously discussed, the Ford government is looking at reducing the number of conservation authorities across Ontario from 36 down to 7. Officials with the Grand River Conservation Authority, which covers a large area in southwestern Ontario, are expressing concerns about that. CTV's Jeff Pickle has the details.
From camping to trail maintenance, environmental protection, and flood management, the Grand River Conservation Authority does a lot and covers a lot of area, from Dundalk to Lake Erie. Ontario Bill 68 would collapse 36 conservation authorities down to just 7 and put the GRCA into the largest network, stretching all the way to Windsor, over 350 kilometers end to end.
The area for the Lake Erie one is huge, all the way down to Windsor from up north. And so that's quite a culture shock. It's 81 municipalities.
The province says the new approach will bring central leadership, efficiency, and better direction and oversight.
So the goal, I think, is to stabilize conservation authorities across Ontario. Some of them don't have the finances to fund the experts.
North Dumfries Mayor Sue Foxton says she agrees some change is needed, but has concerns.
When they kept asking us the questions of, well, how would you do it? I kept thinking they don't have a really good plan.
She says the new area is too big and could jeopardize local knowledge and expertise.
Bring in the ones that are struggling into the GOCA, or let's find a way that we can share our professionals with them to help bring them up to the level that we all need to be at.
Board Trustee Pan Wolf of Cambridge is more critical.
I guess my primary concern is the lack of local autonomy, and that we're seeing more and more with the province.
Wolf is concerned an emphasis on efficiency comes at the cost of safety.
A little distrustful of words like streamlining processes. What does that mean? You know, sometimes we have the process and we have things for a reason, and often it's safety.
Dan Lawrence from Haldimand County, hopeful the province can find middle ground.
I think there's some very good dialogue with regard to an agreement
that change is needed. But I think really at this point, many are in agreement, too big, too quick.
With no plans yet etched in stone, the GRCA board members are hopeful their input doesn't get washed away.
Definitely, it's moving forward fairly quickly, but they are listening to us, I believe. I want to be optimistic.
The GRCA board meets again to discuss this issue and any developments on December 12th. Jeff Pickle, CTV News, Kitchener.
Discussion here at Windsor City Hall.
Windsor's top stories.
A major project is about to get underway.
Breaking news alerts.
Severe weather is a possibility.
And watch live.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us.
Download the CTV News app.
CTV's Rita Ismail is back with a look at the 7-day forecast from the Weather Center. Rita.
Thanks so much, Travis. We are expecting strong gusty winds Thursday and cold start to our day at -6. Flurries are possible. The probability sitting on the lower end for us. Heading into Friday, morning flurries and then fair. Nice mix of sun and cloud, but bitterly cold temperatures. -13 first thing Saturday morning under a nice mix of sun and cloud, but definitely cooling this weekend. Sunday at the 1 degree mark, the flurries will be there. Monday, Tuesday, we get a bit of a break with a mix of sun and cloud, but cold air remains in place. And then Wednesday, we're expecting a snow-rain mix a week from today. Travis?
Thank you very much, Rita. Looking a little bit chilly on Saturday night for Windsor's Santa Claus Parade. Finally tonight, Santa's elves putting a lot of time into rehearsing for a Christmas musical to take the stage this Friday at the Chrysler Theatre. The musical Letters to Santa is set inside the Big Man's Workshop, featuring dozens of performers, dance numbers, and a live band. St. Clair College's music theater program is putting the show on at the Chrysler Theatre starting Friday through December 13th.
So in the holiday season, we like to prep. They've been prepping since September. And the community has really come to love this show because I think they get that classic tradition, but they also know they're going to get something new and exciting every year.
That's our time for tonight. I hope you'll join us tomorrow. For now, I'm Travis Fortnum. Take care.